welcome to the deep dive. Ever wonder who actually builds the tools that design the chips and systems in, well, everything? Your phone, AI data centers.
Yeah, the stuff behind the scenes.
Exactly. So today we're digging into Synopsys. We're using their May 2025 investor overview and their Q2 fiscal 25 results.
Right. The goal is really to unpack what they do, where they sit in the market and how they're performing based on what they're saying.
Okay, let's jump in. What exactly is Synopsys? Why are they important?
Well, think of them as tech enablers. Their whole mission is helping innovators, the companies designing chips and systems, do more with their R&D, make them more productive.
So they're not making the final phone or car.
No, they provide the essential software and also these pre-designed building blocks, the tools and parts needed for engineers to create these incredibly complex electronics.
Like the digital picks and shovels for the tech boom.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. They are the leader, #1, in EDA electronic design automation. That's the super sophisticated software for chip design. And they're also a huge player, #2 worldwide in semiconductor IP. IP is like ready-made, verified circuit designs, speeds things up massively for designers.
Right, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time.
Exactly.
And that must be getting more crucial with how fast tech is moving. What are the big trends driving their business?
The sources point to a few big ones. First, this idea of pervasive intelligence, basically. Chips are going into everything.
Right.
Then just the sheer amount of silicon being used, silicon proliferation. Also, systems becoming more defined by software, and of course, the massive one, AI.
AI everywhere.
Everywhere. And all this just ramps up the complexity, which means you need better, smarter tools, which is where Synopsys comes in.
Okay, so that links back to their leadership, #1 in EDA, #2 in IP. How do they maintain that?
It seems to be about coverage. They offer a really comprehensive full-stack EDA suite, covers the whole design process, and a super broad portfolio of that IP we mentioned.
Right. Customers can get almost everything they need from them.
Pretty much, yeah, for the design flow.
Now, something that really jumped out was the focus on AI in their tools. This isn't new for them.
No, and that's interesting. They've been using AI for, design optimization since 2020. Then they added data analytics using AI in 2022 and generative AI features more recently, starting in 2023.
So it's baked in, not just a label.
Seems that way. It's about fundamentally changing how chips get designed, making the process itself smarter.
Can you give an example? Like, what does that actually do for a designer?
Sure. The sources talk about real outcomes. Their AI tools can help get, say, 10% better performance per watt from a chip design.
That's significant for power consumption.
Hugely. Or they can speed up verification, which is a major bottleneck, by 4x. For digital design specifically, they mention things like 20% better quality of results. That's basically how good the final design is, and cutting the time to results in half, 2x faster.
Those are serious improvements, not just tiny tweaks.
Definitely not. These are critical gains for hitting performance targets and just getting products out the door faster.
And they're also tackling these newer, really complex challenges like multi-die chips.
Yeah, multi-die integration or heterogeneous integration. It's about combining different specialized chiplets into one package to build these super powerful processors. It's complex, risky.
Very tricky to get right, I bet.
For sure. And Synopsys offers a whole solution for that, leveraging their EDA tools and their IP, especially the foundational stuff and interfaces needed to connect those chiplets reliably.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. How about the financials? What did the May 2025 data show?
So looking at their non-GAAP numbers, they use those to show core performance, excluding things like stock comp.
Right, standard practice.
Yeah, so fiscal 24 was strong, revenue around $6.1 billion, diluted EPS $13.20, and for fiscal 25, they're aiming higher.
What are targets?
Revenue between roughly $6.75 and $6.8 billion, and ETS between $15.11 and $15.19. So continued growth is the plan.
But plans come with risks, obviously.
Right. Always. The sources mention the usual suspects: macroeconomics, geopolitics, regulations, but also specifically flag the pending ANSYS merger as something to watch. Hitting those targets depends on navigating all that.
Got it. And beyond the tech and money, they briefly mentioned responsible business stuff too, ESG.
They did. Touched on setting emissions targets, helping customers design greener chips, which is interesting. And they highlighted donations to STEM education, about $5.6 million in calendar 24, plus workplace awards.
So kind of covering their broader impact.
Yeah, showing they're thinking about that side too.
Okay, so let's wrap this deep dive. Synopsys. Clearly a leader, providing the essential EDA and IP for designing complex chips and systems.
Right. Deeply integrating AI to handle that complexity and boost results.
Showing solid financials with growth targets, while also, paying attention to responsible business practices. They really are building the tools for whatever comes next in tech.
Absolutely. Which kind of leaves you thinking, doesn't it? If technology, especially AI, keeps getting more complex, how much does the capability of a company like Synopsys, the quality of their tools, their IP, actually set the pace for how quickly the future gets here? It's foundational.